We've got news to tell and stories to share. Join us for interviews with local business owners, coaches, musicians, artists, and more. We're working to bring your community closer to you. It's Frenchie and Friends on Pardon My French Media.
Welcome everyone to the first official episode of Frenchie and Friends. I am your host, Tyler French. We're here at Able Ice Arena, home of the Drake Bulldog Hockey Club, at least for now. And I am joined today. Our first guest here on Frenchie and Friends is head coach of the Drake Bulldogs, Todd Henderson. Todd, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thanks. I'm really excited to be here and Frenchie and Friends.
Yeah,
I
got to play into Pardon My French.
Yeah, it's good.
So we've been covering you guys for a couple of years now. You're in your second off season here with the Bulldogs, but things have looked a lot different from your first off season to now.
Wow, that's the truth. As you know, our roster has been pretty small, but we've been very competitive with the teams that we play with significantly larger rosters. Well, we have actually more recruits coming in this fall than we have returning players. And it's not because anybody's quitting, it's just because we're graduating by attrition. So we've more than doubled in size. You know many of the recruits that are coming in. We have a few Iowa guys, and I cannot wait till this fall.
Yeah. You guys did graduate some really important players, guys like Dominic Cook, as well as Paxton Reading, just to name a few, who have been huge parts of this program, helped get it off the ground. Paxton's been one of the best scorers on the team, but these recruits bring a lot of excitement, especially the ones we know from the Des Moines High School Hockey League.
We have some real scorers, particularly with Blade Wolver and Kinnick Sager, and there's a few folks that you're not familiar with. We have Connor Norman coming from Oklahoma, Aiden McGee coming from the Chicago area, Owen DeCrow from the Quad Cities. He played for the Quad City Blues. Eli Sorois, who you are familiar with, that played for the Iowa City Junior Heartlanders. And who am I forgetting? Brody Madigan, the 6'5" goalie who destroyed the Iowa High School Hockey Alliance while he was in it, and until my team beat him, of course.
But he likes to remind you he was not in net for that game.
He will remind you and myself and anybody else who will listen that he was not in net for that game, but he does skate out and he's very good. So we got a twofer with him. He spent a season up in Canada playing, and now we got him.
Yeah. And, you guys are going to have a really good goalie rotation. You bring back Cole Jackson, who had one of the craziest freshman years you'll ever see. Multiple games with over 80 saves. We were here last week doing the Women's I-80 Ice Fest and talking with one of the goalies for the runner-up team and told them about Cole, and their jaw dropped when it came to how many saves he had in a couple of those games.
Well, in one game, as you know, he had 85 saves and 91 shots, and then here at home he had, I don't know what it was, like 82 saves on 85 shots, something like that, which is phenomenal goalie play, but nobody should ever be facing 90 shots in a game. So we're going to work on covering the point with our forwards, and when we do that, we're very successful.
Yeah. And we did see Carter Osgood skate out in that last game against Wheaton. Do you think that'll be something that takes place this year?
Well, it was funny because he had his goalie jersey on, and it was tucked into his breezers, and he's out there. He's got a history of concussion, so I was holding my breath while he was out there, like, get your goal and get off the ice. Well, he scored. He didn't come off the ice, so I was on pins and needles that he made it through the game okay.
Yeah. So to have Brody coming in as both a skater and a goalie just adds more numbers.
Oh, yeah.
And your son, Aiden, also going to be playing. I'm sure Ainsley is going to be very involved on the sidelines as well.
Well, she wanted to play on the men's team, and as you know, she's very small. And I said, well, why don't we start a women's team? And she was all over that. So I had mentioned it to our assistant coach, Jesse Rudin, who of course played for the men's team, and talked to her about maybe head coaching that team in addition to helping with the men's team, and she was all over it. So Drake is in favor of adding a women's team this fall.
Nice, and obviously it's going to be a little bit to get it off the ground and get that same type of interest, but you guys working together have done so many great things.
They're going to have to start from scratch the same way that the men's team did. Just a few short years ago, Griffin Dyka, Paxton Reading, Sean Summerness, and others started the club. They were all Minnesota kids, a few from Wisconsin, and from the Chicago area, who were really, really good at hockey, but they came with academics, either for actuarial science, Cook, or pharmacy like Charles Brownell, or business, pre-law, because we have the 3 and 3 program at Drake for pre-law students. And they started a club with just a few guys, to the point where they were walking around campus asking people, do you play hockey? Have you seen it on TV? Have you heard of hockey? And then they were putting up flyers saying, please join the hockey club, no experience required, which is crazy when you think about hockey players. But we had to start somewhere, and we've been competitive with much larger schools. Fast forward a couple of years, we spent a year raising money and recruiting players, and we're going to win the vast majority of our games this coming season. I'm calling it right now.
Yeah, you guys have a huge schedule this year. Really excited to get that. Was it 14 home games this year?
That's the beauty of being an independent school and not in a conference. I have the ability to pick our opponents and set our schedule. So we have 22 games this upcoming season, and 14 of them are right here at home.
And obviously this has been a huge boost having this right in the backyard. But you guys do have something in the works. I don't know how much you can say about it, but news did break about it a couple months ago.
Well, I have 30 million reasons why I can't talk about it right now, but we will talk about it very soon.
Nice. Okay, we will put a pin in that for now. But while we're talking about Aiden and Ainsley, your 2 kids, you guys, there's hockey families, and then there's you guys. With how much time you guys devote to being on the ice, being around these programs, we got to see it early on with the Des Moines High School Hockey League, Sarah being the parent commissioner, you being a coach with the Pirates. But what is it like getting to do this and have not just your wife, but your kids involved as well?
I'm just glad they love it too. Otherwise, it would be awful. Ainsley loves hockey every bit as much as Aiden does, and it's a labor of love for my wife Sarah, and she's all in helping grow the sport of hockey in Iowa. When she started at the Des Moines level for high school, there were I think 47 kids total, and 4 teams in Des Moines, and then just 2 years later, there's 117 kids that are now playing just in Des Moines, including Iowa City, Quad Cities, Okoboji at the time. Well, now we're looking to add in Ames and potentially Dubuque. So she's doing great work. And, it certainly helps me recruit for the Midwest kids in Iowa.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys have added what, like 4 new teams to the Des Moines High School Hockey League for the years?
Des Moines, and then 5 outside the Des Moines area.
Yeah, it has been a lot of growth in our first year with the program. We kind of, haven't really had the time as much with our work with Drake as well as Norwalk last year to be able to the league, but it was an exciting couple of years, and obviously Okoboji dominated those state tournaments a couple times, 3 straight state titles.
Well, they got exactly what they wanted. They're now in the Midwest League, and they haven't won a single game.
But you do have Brody Madigan coming in. He's going to be a very exciting addition. And some of the top returners, we've talked about the people who've left, we've talked about the newcomers, but you guys have a lot of talent coming back. Not just to name a few, Charles Brownell, Parker Peterson, who I still think of Spider-Man every time I say his name. And then Ian Altacruz, just to name a few. You guys had a couple huge freshmen last year. Nicholas Aguilar was a huge pickup who wasn't even here to play hockey.
We found him at the Student Activities Fair. Well, he was dragged to the Student Activities Fair by Everett Bridgman. And we're like, hey, he plays hockey. And we're like, hey, why don't you join the club? And he's like, I don't know. And we're so glad that he did. That young man's always got a smile on his face, is laughing or telling self-deprecating jokes about himself in the locker room. He's just a great addition to the team. And you've seen his speed. Oh, my gosh. Phenomenal player.
You mentioned Everett Bridgman, who had a huge breakout weekend the last week and a hat trick for his first collegiate goals of his career.
Hat trick on Friday night of senior night, and then he had another goal, and on the following day, I think he had 6 points total, 4 goals and 2 assists.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for him.
Everett's a classic example of you're only as good as the people you practice with. Even my son Aiden, he wasn't as good as he is now as he was in high school, but he's been practicing with Paxton and Dylan Fisher and Sean Summerness and the great goalies that we have, and now he's unrecognizable, just like Everett's unrecognizable. They get so much better. So these guys that are coming in, like Wolver and Sager, who we know excelled at the high school level, they're going to get that much better this fall.
Yeah, and with you guys graduating, Paxton, obviously, that's going to leave a little bit of a scoring void, and those 2 guys you mentioned, more than willing to do that. We saw 8 goals in a game last season
Right.
from Blaine Wolver. We saw multiple 4-goal games for him.
So I was driving up from San Antonio. My son had just graduated from basic training for the Air Force. And my wife had your live stream of the game. Wolver had 2 goals in the first period. And I was just thinking, if he just got one more goal, he'll have a hat trick. And 30 seconds left in the game, he got his 8th goal. So, I mean, that's unheard of.
Yeah, kid is an absolute scoring machine. Led the league in goals his junior and senior year. Absolute huge player for the Pirates and a big pickup for you guys at Drake.
Don't forget who drafted him in the high school league. And so I insisted on getting a Drake.
Yeah. And then you mentioned as well some of the other freshmen that were just exciting to watch, and someone we're hoping to interview about his music career, Matthew Garcia.
Sure, absolutely. He was a pleasant surprise. He came to our away game at Northern Illinois 2 years ago. Was interested in Drake. His mother went to Drake and got me this for Christmas, which was nice. So Matthew Garcia is a classic example of good upbringing. When you draft or when you recruit a player, you're also recruiting the parents. And so as great a character as Matty has, parents are responsible for that. So when I'm out recruiting, I look for guys like Matty Garcia, and I talk to their parents before I ask them to come to Drake.
Yeah. And we got to talk with his parents a couple times during the season. We had
They
nothing
come to
but
a lot of games.
Yeah, we had nothing but great things to say about Matt this entire season. He's a great defensive player with a budding offensive game as well. You combine him with Dylan Fisher, you guys get Davis By back this year as well. That already is a great base defensively with Everett Bridgman thrown in as well.
Well, Owen DeCrow from Bettendorf came over and skated with us, and he and Matty were in sync. Great chemistry, so you could see them together on a line.
Yeah, it's really crazy to think, you guys going from 8, 9 healthy skaters last year
Right.
and a goalie
To
in each
19.
game. Yeah. And you guys are gonna have 3 full lines plus some.
Yes, we are. So we'll be tinkering with lines to see who's got the best chemistry and synergy. We'll start the season off on September 12th hosting the Kansas Jayhawks, who will probably be the most skilled team that we play all season. So we'll see where we're at, what adjustments we need to make. But that'll be a good test. We faced them late in the season this past spring. We lost in the first game, but we had a lead for quite a while in the second game until Ian Ultracruz got hurt his shoulder and was out for the rest of the season. That hurt us as a team, but we have him back. He's healthy for his senior year, and Kansas is not going to be ready for us. They're not expecting our roster to double and have twice as many good players as we did before.
Yeah. And you mentioned Ian. I was just about to ask. He's got to be hungry coming back.
Oh, yeah.
And missing some of those big games. The upset over Nebraska one of the last weekends.
He got medically cleared to play the day after senior night, so I felt horrible for him.
Yeah. But it means he's going to come back hungry, going to come back ready to play.
You mentioned senior night. Well, senior night this coming season we're going to be hosting Nebraska, so he's going to get his crack at them.
And the huge upset over Nebraska was such a it felt like a turning point for this program, especially.
Well, God bless Cole Jackson. The coach for Nebraska, Reed Fuller, is a friend, and he texted me on his way home and said, "Coach, I'm going to see that goalie of yours in your nightmares." So we'll make sure we have Cole in net for probably Friday night of senior night weekend.
Yeah. Well, being able to throw him, Brody, and Carter out on any given night, and then have Brody skate out as well.
Carter Osgood is our goalie coach by default. He's got so much experience, and he's so supportive of the younger guys, teaching them what he knows. And we don't have a goalie coach, so thank God for Carter Osgood to teach them the stuff that Jesse and I we're not goalie coaches.
Yeah, but Jessie Rudin, you mentioned, former player. She's been a huge boost to this team. We're trying to talk with her about her experiences as well.
Yeah, well, I told her we were doing the podcast this morning, and I said, "Don't worry, you're getting your very own." And she has a new dog from Puppy Jake that she's training. So I haven't met him yet, so I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, going back our 2+ years now with covering the team, the dog coming when she was a player and then stepping in while as a
and
coach.
going out on the ice at practice it was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
But I get super attached to him, so it hurts when they graduate and go on to help a veteran in need.
Yeah. She was part of the I-80 Ice Fest last weekend here, and Dad was saying that at one point the dog was just on his back in her lap, just chilling. Yeah. And it's like it's got to be tough moving on to a new dog, but she does a lot of really great things with that program. We're excited to talk with her, and you've done a lot of great things with Drake here. You started as a broadcaster with us, moved to assistant coach, and then head coach within a week?
That's exactly what happened. Because the players reminded me of my comments on their playing in the game, and I'm like, yeah, I said it, and I go, and I was right. I go, so make the adjustment. And they're like, okay.
But we've had Sarah join us for different games for both the Des Moines League and for Drake. And then Aiden being a part of the team this year. Ainsley's communications major. We got to get her involved up here too.
I'm glad you mentioned that because she would love to do it. Part of the growth of this club, and largely because of our success last year, and the higher profile the club has had, we've been elevated to premier sports club status. And what does that mean? It means not only financial support from the university, but Jerry Parker, who is the Dean of Students, and my gosh, he is so wonderful. He is the godfather of this program. Without him, we don't really have a program. He came up with the funding to send me to St. Louis a few weekends ago, down to the ACHA showcase, where I was able to do recruiting for 3 days. And I've got 18 recruits that are interested in coming to Drake in 2026 and 2027, which is good because we're going to need it to reload and rebuild our program. In addition to that, I've had retired professors at Drake reach out to me and say, hey, Coach, I want to help you guys. How would you feel about getting the promotion of the hockey club becoming part of the curriculum for journalism and mass communications and or the marketing department? This is the kinds of things that Drake can do via their infrastructure to help elevate their premier sports clubs, which is just phenomenally wonderful.
Yeah, and you guys have done so much in the short amount of time you've been at the helm. You already mentioned a lot more publicity for the club, bringing on a double-sized roster, Jesse stepping as assistant coach, and just overall, there's a lot more excitement from when we started doing games to the huge student section that was here for senior day.
Well, that was funny because on senior night, you could hear it on your live stream, people going, Jerry, like it was a Jerry Springer show. Well, Jerry Parker, who I mentioned, was buying pizza for the entire student section. So I'm coaching from the bench, and my phone blows up, and he texted me, and he's like, hey, I just bought pizzas for the entire student section. This crowd is crazy. Great job. That's the kind of support we're getting from the university that, was absent in our infancy as a club. So we're growing by the day. You're right, it is very exciting, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So obviously a lot of excitement moving forward. For kids that may be interested, how can they reach out? How can they find information about the club and Drake in general?
Sure. So DrakeClubHockey.com is the name of our website. You can go to it. You can fill out, volunteer forms. Our roster, our schedule is on there. All of our home games are right here at the Great American Energy Recplex, and we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, where you previously were live streaming our games. You now have a YouTube channel, and what is that?
That is Pardon My French Media. You can just find it all at Pardon My French Media on YouTube. We carry Drake Hockey. We've got Norwalk High School baseball, softball going right now. Iowa Phoenix. We'll have Waukee lacrosse going through there, and then whatever we end up picking up in the next.
Are you talking about the two-time NELAX champions, Waukee lacrosse?
Correct, and we're going to be doing a interview with head coach Bert Richter here in the next couple of weeks. Excited to talk with him about their back-to-back state championships as well. But I want to say thanks to you for joining us. We're excited for another year of Drake Hockey, and thank everyone for tuning in for the first episode of Frenchie and Friends here on Pardon My French Media. If you know someone who might be interested in telling their story, or a business is interested in sponsoring, you're watching the video, you know that it works to get that word out. Make sure to reach out to us. You can give me a call at 515-864-8409 or email us at pardonmyfrenchmedia@gmail.com. From us here at Pardon My French Media, until then, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.